Nice one. Cheers, pal.
Hi, mate.
Hello everyone and welcome to a very special festive edition of the Agenda on the Blood Red channel. If the Queen's speech isn't for you, well hopefully Gorsty and myself have got you boxed off on Christmas Day, where we're going to have a little look back on what a magnificent calendar year has been for the Reds, on so many fronts, domestic, European, pretty much everything. But what I want to start with, Gorsty, if I may, is just how it's been in terms of covering it, because obviously one of the big moments in my eyes, and I'm sure many listeners, readers of the Echo, was when the boot room promotion of Paul Gorst took place. It was almost like a Shankly to Paisley switch. Like, you know, Pearce signed off, he got that European trophy done, and then the big man comes in, takes over. Your trophy count's good. Two big cups in the last few months. What's it been like since September when you took over?
It's been great, to be honest. I mean, I'd like a few more games boxed off, done and dusted before the 90th minute. There have been several of them. I think there's 7 now. The Liverpool have won in stoppage time or inside the last 5 minutes.
Hasty rewrites.
Which doesn't do much for your match verdict when you're trying to get it in. But yeah, I mean, I can't complain. I've seen Liverpool lose once so far in Napoli back in September. It's an absolute privilege to be covering what I think now is the best team in the world and has been proven official by the Club World Cup. So fantastic. Watching so many superb players at the absolute peak of their powers. You think of Virgil van Dijk, Alisson Becker, Sadio Mane, Roberto Firmino, Mohamed Salah, Fabinho, the list goes on. So it's been a joy so far. 2 trophies up, so I think I'm 1 up on Pearce. So I've outdone him there, but he did cover the big one, didn't he, the Champions League?
Yeah.
Maybe in May we'll be looking at me covering the Premier League title. We shall see. It's an absolutely fantastic time to be following the Reds, whether you're a fan or a journalist or just anyone who's got a passion and interest in football.
Well, you mentioned it there. Obviously, apart from getting the Gorsty deal over the line, the biggest moment of the year was that Champions League final back in June. So let's just reflect on that for a second. Obviously, we've written and talked about it at length, but there's just, I don't know, you get so many reminders all the time, don't you? And obviously this week, as you've mentioned, in Qatar, winning the Club World Cup, that wouldn't have happened. And we not won the Champions League, Liverpool wouldn't have been there. You've had the Super Cup. So, you know, there's 2 trophies that came on the back of the glory back in Madrid in June. But do you think as well as leading to those cups, it kind of laid the groundwork for everything we've seen in the league this season?
Yeah, you'd always hear, don't you? You'd always hear, like, players who've done it before, players who've won trophies, managers who've won trophies, getting that first one over the line, success breeds success. And I think winning that Champions League in June was just a massive moment for Liverpool because they'd come so close in Kiev a year earlier and they'd fallen. But I think when they lost to Real Madrid in the end of May in 2018, it wasn't like it was a disappointment. You know, everyone was devastated, but it wasn't a moment where you thought, well, that's Liverpool's time come and gone, and they've missed the boat. It was almost like the start of something, and they followed on and completely proven that theory in Madrid just over a year later, and now it looks like they are building towards something special in the Premier League. They are now obviously world champions. They've won the Super Cup. Let's go with the Champions League. First thing they've seen to win all 3 in the same calendar year. So everywhere you look now across this football club, on and off the pitch, they're absolutely thriving. They've got arguably the best manager in the world, a squad that's the envy of world football. New plans afoot with the training ground, which will be open before the start of next season. Plans to expand Anfield to make it the 3rd biggest in the Premier League. So everywhere you look now, Liverpool are absolutely in top shape, and it's just going to be great to see how they continue on from here.
You mentioned a few of them before, that list of world champions and several Ballon d'Or nominees that are in the Red squad. If you had to pick one player who kind of defined the calendar year and stood out the most, is there anyone who springs to mind? There's
a few, isn't there? You could make an argument for Alisson Becker. Absolute world-class goalkeeper. Finished the Premier League season with the most clean sheets in his debut season, the most expensive Liverpool goalkeeper of all time, the 2nd in football history, behind Kepa of Chelsea. Won the Copa America, the Champions League, the Golden Glove in the Champions League, Golden Glove in the Copa America. He's just won the Club World Cup. So he'd have a very realistic shot. And then you think of someone like Virgil van Dijk, who's just been an absolute colossus now for 2 years at Liverpool, hasn't he? And I think he's the one really that's been the catalyst for this transformation over the last 2 years at Liverpool. Something was bubbling and building at the time, but he's just basically taken Liverpool a lot further than perhaps they even thought they could get since he signed. So I'd probably say Van Dijk. Honourable mention for Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah. of course, Roberto Firmino.
Absolutely. Well, like you say, the list is pretty much endless there. So we talked about European glory and everything that's come in the wake of the Champions League win, but is there a domestic moment, or I'd say a domestic game that stands out for you this season? It's one of them, isn't it? Like you were saying before about the games you've covered recently, as great as Liverpool have been this season, there's been lots of tight games, but I don't know, would you maybe say the City 3-1 or the Everton game recently that stands out?
Yeah, I would have said either of those, actually. I think the City game, particularly the first half, was probably as close as Liverpool have come to playing like the way they were in 2017-18, when there wasn't much, it was hell for leather and not much thought was given to defending, and it was just all out attack, and it was electrifying. Every time they went forward, it looked like they were going to score. So I'd probably say that one, coming against a team of such high quality as well, Manchester City, the big rivals, that was the huge title rivalry. Some were even calling it a decider at the time, weren't they? And Liverpool breezed past City on the day. Probably unfortunate to concede, really, considering how well they defended against City's attackers. And then the Merseyside derby, when Klopp made 5 changes and everyone was questioning it and pulling their hair out and thinking, no, you can't be doing this against Everton. And then they go and score 5. Those two are probably the ones to stand out. I thought Liverpool played very well against Tottenham. Went a goal down basically inside the first minute. Never panicked, kept to the game plan throughout. Got the deserved win in the end. Probably should have been a bit more comfortable. Paolo Gazzaniga had a great day that day at Anfield. So probably those 3, but if I pick them one, then the City one's hard to beat, isn't it?
I think that's fair. And then coming to the end of the year, it's been a mad few weeks really, but obviously on the playing front, there's been so many games throughout December, but then there's been a couple of weeks where Liverpool we're getting loads of business done. Obviously Klopp's contract, Milner, Minamino, we've had developments on the Anfield expansion front. It almost feels, doesn't it, that like FSG are kind of looking to answer the big questions of 2020 already, just getting that done a bit early? Very
much so, yeah. I mean, as I say, I think if you look across every kind of facet of this football club, every corner of it, you won't find somewhere that isn't thriving on or off the pitch. Fair play to FSG. They've backed Klopp in the transfer market in 2018 with Van Dijk and Alisson, Keita, Fabinho and Shaqiri. They've just picked up Minamino for an absolute steal. We know Liverpool believe he's worth 3 times more than the 7.25 million he paid for him. I'd probably argue he's worth even more than that, given how some of the prices fluctuate in the Premier League now. So yeah, I mean, everywhere you look, Liverpool are absolutely on top form. A lot of credit does have to go to FSG as they enter their 10th year as owners. It hasn't been an overnight success and an instant transformation by any stretch, but they were never going to be owners who were coming in and spending 400 million, every summer, every winter transfer market. They've done it steadily. They've spent when they can, spent it correctly through the work of Michael Edwards and the football operations team, and obviously Klopp. So it's hard to pick fault. We're not supporters. We're journalists. We're meant to be objective and balanced. But you can't really argue what's happening at this football club at the moment. There's not an area where you think something can change for the better, because they're absolutely flying. It's just going to be so exciting to see what happens in the next 18 months to 2 years.
Well, lastly then, if you had to have one hope, one expectation for next year, is it just all about that Premier League title?
I think it's got to be, hasn't it? I mean, I think Liverpool fans have seen them win the Champions League. You don't have to be 40 or 50 to know what it feels like to win a European Cup as a Liverpool fan, but a generation of Liverpool supporters have never seen them lift the Premier League, have they? There'll be supporters who are 28 and 29 who've never seen it, so that has to be the holy grail after Christmas into the new year, and then just edging towards the spring, because that'll just be if Klopp's not already the legend, then they'll build a statue for him if they win that league.
Absolutely. Nice one. Well, we'll leave it there. Everyone who's tucking into your turkey, have a lovely Christmas day, and thanks for all the listeners, readers, watchers of all the Echo content throughout 2019, and there'll be plenty more to come next year. Thank you very much.